What it do, nation? Another freezing cold night. Grab your favorite drink, favorite smoke, hot coffee, chocolate, whatever it is. Curl up, get warm. Let's break down Tampa Bay Bucks versus the Raiders. At least it's not a freezing cold game, right? Tom Brady, Super Bowl team versus his new team. It's going to be a big game. Bucks favored to win as always. The Raiders haven't been favored to win any game this year. Some have been double digits. Let's break it all down. What's good? What's good? Raider Ryan in the building. Was in the building. Appreciate you, my guy, for pulling up. So the mandate has been unmandated, right? The Las Vegas Raiders. There was reports, a leak that has been unleaked, I guess, that the Raiders were mandated to draft a quarterback. That has been reneged, and there is no supposed demand or whatever you want to call it to draft a quarterback. According to another report that says the other report is all bull. So if I reported that there was a mandate to draft a quarterback in the first round, apparently that report was absolutely bullshit. And I apologize, but this one probably is too, because we all know the Raiders are drafting a quarterback in the first round, right? It's Shador Sanders, unless something wild and crazy happens, like us winning some games. We'll talk about that. But what a crazy day this is going to be. You know, Tom Brady, obviously, I mean, I don't know. He's probably not calling the game. He's not allowed to call Raider games, from what I know. So he will not be in the building to watch a team that he took to the Super Bowl face a team that he just purchased a little small claim in and is now minority owner. So this will be kind of a crazy game. This is also a game, you know, where our coach was traded in the middle of the season to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We ended up playing them, meeting them in the Super Bowl. What are the odds of that? Well, what are the odds of our interim head coach changing it back to John Gruden's playbook right before the Super Bowl? What are the odds of our starting center disappearing because he's bipolar and ends up in Mexico somewhere? What are the odds of the Raiders getting blown out by the Tampa Bay Bucks with our old coach in the Super Bowl? But yes, it happened. And here we are heading to Tampa, I guess already in Tampa. The guys are there, ready to play an early morning game. The Raiders historically are not very good East Coast games, especially in the morning. But man, at least they don't have to play in Detroit or Green Bay or Chicago, somewhere where there's snow on the ground and it's absolutely freezing outside. Going up against Baker Mayfield, who last time he played the Raiders, I do believe it was the last time he played the Raiders. The man read the playbook on a plane flight, came in, played us, knocked us out of the playoff chances, or wasn't really playoff chances, but anyways, spanked that ass, made us look bad reading the playbook in a day and a half, and won the game in the fourth quarter. Another game that cost probably Dick Daniels his job, losing in the fourth quarter. But you know, when you lose in the fourth quarter and you lose leads, that's usually on the defense, right? But the defensive coordinator Patrick Graham stayed, and what's good, Sharks? Hello, hello. Patrick Graham stayed. Dick Daniels was booted. Might not coach again unless Belichick gets a job. And here we are, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, how do we win? What are the chances? Do we have any? I believe the chances for us winning any game has gone up now that Norv Turner and Scott Turner have took over the reins on offense. I believe it's a whole nother offense. They didn't even, tweak too much. They just kind of opened it up a little bit. They went with the new running back, Sincere McCormick, who is showing that he deserves to be that number one guy at least the rest of the season. Kind of like, when Josh Jacobs got hurt and Amir Abdullah. I mean, not Amir Abdullah, but Elmir Abdullah and Zamir White kind of took over the reins. Zamir White had 400 and something yards rushing in the last 4 games. Can Sincere McCormick, possibly earn the starting job this week or next week and have a finishing season with 5 games left? Kind of like, Zamir White did last year and kind of earn the jobs. Yeah, I got cotton mouth like crazy. We'll say what Sharks got to say. Wait, fuck. Not trying to be rude, but the Raiders not winning the Super Bowl. Well, first, my guy, thank you for your evaluation, but to get to the Super Bowl, you have to be in the playoffs. And at 2-10, the Raiders are not even sniffing the playoffs. It was like 3 weeks ago that we were pretty much washed, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. We are on I do believe, an 8-game losing streak, my guy. So, yeah, shout out for the evaluation, but let's not point out the obvious, Captain Obvious. We are not winning the Super Bowl this year. In the upcoming, Unleashing Addiction was good. Appreciate you. In the upcoming years, we do have 10 picks in this year's draft. We also have a pick right now. We're sitting at second, which I do not believe that is where we're going to be at the end of the year. I believe we are probably going to be somewhere between 8, 9. Hopefully, it's still in the top 10. I don't think this coaching staff is going to let it, get out of control. I think they're going to pull the reins. If we start to win too many games, that's just my opinion. Found this new channel. I was scrolling and just found you. Hey, shout out for YouTube for finally pushing my channel. I appreciate it. Next year you will win. I think it's going to be a couple years, man. It, they're talking about AP not being here next year. He really didn't get a fair shake, in my opinion. 1 year and a partial year taking over somebody else's staff is not really enough to evaluate a head coach. If they keep him a year and they start to win, maybe make a wild card, do some damage in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, but anything's possible. They have $120 million projected this year or next year, whatever you want to call it, this year coming up in the off season. That is a whole hell of a lot of money, and you can buy a lot of shit in Vegas, in a city where you don't have to pay taxes. You got a players coach where in a brand new facility in a crazy wild town where a lot of people are going to want to go to play in Vegas if Antonio Pierce can prove that he's that guy, or they might go with a whole nother coach. So it all depends, where the Raiders, what direction we're going in. And right now, nobody seems to know that direction. All we know is everybody's hyped on Shador Sanders. And, I could see it. Deion Sanders was the greatest corner of probably all time. And, probably put him up there, wide receiver, punt returner, kickoff returner. The man is called prime time for a reason. So, yes, everybody wants his son to be like that. Ray Love, what's good? Appreciate you pulling up. And, I want him to be like that too, as long as it's in a Raiders uniform, but not somewhere else. So you can see the hype on Shador, but we're going to break that down here in a bit. We will talk about quarterbacks, the fit, and is it really all just hype, or is Shador really the best fit for the Las Vegas Raiders? We will get to that. What else we got? They need a new coach. Yeah. If he keeps making mistakes, man, but look, everybody in life makes mistakes, and especially a rookie head coach who's never been in the NFL, never had this much pressure. Sure the hell didn't think he was going to have, 5 starters out on the defense, 4 of them out for the year. That's just things you can't plan for. And was he prepared for it? Was he built for it? Absolutely not, in my opinion. But can he learn from it and grow from it? Yes. But how much time does he have? We'll see. We will see. We'll definitely see. Or we might not see. Yeah, but if you can step up, if you can't step up, then you don't belong. I mean, yeah, he's definitely got to step up. He's going to have to step up and show that we can win some games. But like I said in my last live, if Aidan O'Connell starts winning games, if Sincere McCormick continues to, flash and have 60, 70 yards a game, averaging 5.5 or 5.6 or 6.6 yards a carry like he did in the first game. If Sincere McCormick continues to do that and Aidan O'Connell continues to show out, does that look better for Antonio Pierce or does that look worse for Antonio Pierce? You're the head coach. You didn't play these guys. You didn't do your job and coach and say, these are the guys I think we need to go with. Run your system around these guys. Instead, he let his coach decide who was going to be in, who wasn't going to be in, and I think that might be his downfall. What'd you say? I got that. Can't step up. It's now or never. I like the Raiders, but I'm from Kansas City. I like the Chiefs. I mean, if you're from Kansas City, you should like the Chiefs. Y'all got what? I don't know how many Super Bowls and how many years. Actually, I do know, but I just hate saying it. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So, I mean, come on. Y'all got Patrick Mahomes. You got a lot to like. You got a lot to like. That's all I can say about the Chiefs. That's all I can say good about them, anyways. No, you got one of the best coaches in the NFL who knows how to get the best out of his players, right? And shit, you can't ask for more than that in the NFL. Raiders. I need to get my buttons set up on hotkeys, man. One of these days, I'm going to have time to set all this shit up and be a real YouTuber. I like the Raiders too, but I'm also a Bears fan. What? Man, I just hope the Raiders do not make a decision like your Bears did last year and take a chance on the quarterback that everybody says is the future, right? This is the guy. This has to be the guy. And pick Shador Sanders and him not be the guy. And stick around because we're going to break down why I think Shador is just a wild, wild pick. And if you win games and you plan on moving up for the kid, I'm going to lose my ever loving mind, bro. Like, completely lose my mind. I like the Chiefs not trying to be rude. I mean, the Chiefs are great, bro. I told you they the champs. They are the champs. That's kind of weird. How old are you? You like the Chiefs and the Raiders? Who you like on the Raiders? Max Crosby? I mean, the Raiders have a prestige franchise that has been on a really, really, really bad downslide for a long time. We are allowed to like other teams. You're allowed to like whoever you want. I'm allowed to give you shit. I'm sorry. If you come on here saying you're a Raiders fan, but you like other teams or you have a second favorite team, I don't know. To me, that's not a Raiders fan because a Raiders fan is a Raiders fan, right? There is no other team. There's just one. Just one. The rest are just imitation teams. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, y'all. Don't get butt hurt. Especially when the Raiders are having a bad year. Well, see, that's when a real fan comes out. When your team is having a bad year, Unfortunately for the Raiders, it hasn't just been 1 year, it's been year after year after year after. I could just keep doing this for like the next hour, but yeah, it's been a lot of years. Loyalty, 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 right? To be a Raider definitely means loyalty. You can't just be a bandwagon fan and be like, "Oh my God, they're the greatest team when they're winning," and as soon as they start losing, or are 2-10 and having their one of their worst losing streaks of all time, tied for second, I do believe, and possibly have a chance to, hopefully not, but possibly have a chance to break the longest losing streak of all time. I mean, yes, you still have to have faith if you're a diehard fan. Now, if you're a casual fan, you don't have to. You could be like, all right, I'm gonna go be you know a Titans fan or a Bills fan or a team that's winning. But a true fan of a team sticks with them through thick and thin. Kind of like a marriage. When your lady pisses you off, you don't go run out and go find another one, a side piece. Well, that's not a good analogy because a lot of people do. But if you shouldn't, if you're loyal, I'm just saying, as long as we still have to love them, I think it's fine. I mean, yeah, you have your opinion, I have mine. You think it's fine, I think it's not. AOC is a good rookie. It's a second year, but still kind of a rookie. I mean, he hasn't played 17 games yet, so you're glitching. That's crazy. Are you a robot? Smack yourself in the back of the head. Sometimes it works. You'll stop glitching. Just All right, I gotta get caught up. Ray Love, what's good, my guy? Where you been? Haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, see, only one nation. Ray Love knows what's up. All right, so let's get into this. Let me pull this up. Let's break down this. Y'all just talking crazy talking here. People glitching and shit. I don't know what's going on with all that. Never glitched before. Um, well, that didn't work. Well, son of a biscuit eater. Keep up what? I'm not behind the comments. See, keep up. That was the last one. I'm not behind. What's good? What's good? What's good? Appreciate y'all pulling up. What's everybody doing on this Saturday? Did y'all watch the football game? Georgia is the SEC champion. Touchdown at the end of the game with a backup quarterback. Their quarterback, Carson Beck, gets hurt, goes down with an elbow injury for those of y'all that don't know, and are at work and can't watch the game or listen to it or whatever, which I don't know how that could be possible nowadays, unless you're in a place where you can't do that. But if you are, that is it. The SEC champions, conference champions are the Georgia Bulldogs. They defeated Texas. It was bullshit. What? Plus, wait. Chiefs versus Raiders. They would have won if they didn't miss the field goal this year. They didn't. They missed 3 field goals this year, and they didn't even attempt the fourth one. I don't know what they did. I don't know. It goes back to talking about Antonio Pierce earlier in the decision making. Now, I thought the man pretty much was guaranteed his job next year just because everything that went on, you know, with the firing of coaches, with the injury of players, and not just players, starting players that are key pieces to this team. I thought he would be back. But after the Kansas City game, I don't know. But then you get you know, a sneaky leak report saying they have a leak saying that the Raiders have been mandated to get a quarterback in the first round, which comes out right after the loss. So, it could have got a call up from upstairs and said, I don't know what to do, but do some shit and don't make this field goal. I mean, You never know. You never know. It could be bad coaching. It could be upstairs. It could be all above. All we can do as fans that don't know and don't get to ask the question because the reporters won't ask the tough questions is speculate or go by, what other reporters say, which, man, I hate doing. Sucks. One day, maybe. Make me a reporter, NFL. I want the inside scoop. No, I couldn't do that because then I'd have to leak shit about my Raiders, and I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. But let me try this one more time. I gotta change this setting. Hold up. Alright, see if that works. Damn, it won't let me change during the thing. Fuck this. This bullshit. Well, hell's bells. Try one more time. Select tab. Select this tab and hit enter. Okay, I guess y'all could kind of see it. So Baker Mayfield has, already this year, 3,034 yards. Bucky Irving, the rookie running back, has 732 yards. Chris Godwin, that receiver, has 576. Not too good. Their running back, Mr. David, which, man, I thought the Raiders should have went after last year. Would have looked nice in a silver and black jersey. I don't know how good y'all can see this, but if it looks like it looks on my screen, I apologize. It's horrible. Baker Mayfield's longest pass is 55 yards. He has 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, sacked 28 times. Now let's pause right there because those are huge numbers. 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Now, we know Baker Mayfield is a gunslinger, but Baker Mayfield always also has an Achilles injury and a high ankle sprain in this game. Holy shit, let's not do that. Much better. I apologize. Baker Mayfield also has an Achilles and a high ankle sprain in this game, which is hopefully going to slow down his mobility. And with the Raiders, like we did last week, kind of sending 4 defensive ends in a NASCAR package, I thought put a lot of pressure. Caleb Von Chasen was great last week with 1.5 sacks. I believe the man had 8 pressures, which was 22.75% of his snaps. He got pressure on one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in Patrick Mahomes. So those are huge numbers. That's definitely going to help this team against a team like Tampa Bay and a quarterback like Baker Mayfield. But the games we have been blown out in this year have been games where the quarterback are pocket passers and they stand in there till the last second, maybe step up in the pocket, sidestep Max Crosby, who's, always crazy and reckless, and it's not really hard to juke that man out, in my opinion. I love him. He's one of the best, but in that aspect, when it comes to getting juked out, it's not very hard. Just step up, step around him, and we get beat a lot by pocket passers. So maybe Baker Mayfield not being as mobile might hurt us. But what's not going to hurt us is the fact that he's a gunslinger and the man does take chances. He takes a lot of chances throwing the ball into double coverage, throwing the ball, you know, off the wrong foot, off his front foot, off side foot, sidearm, trying to be like a Patrick Mahomes a lot. And I'm not saying he's a wannabe Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying he plays with that style. But, I mean, you can understand that. They both were under Kingsbury's, coaching in college, I believe, Texas Tech. Oh, my God, that heater is killing my mouth. So they were both both learned that kind of mobility, reckless out of the backfield, underhand passes, side passes, crazy shit. Sometimes it works for him, sometimes it costs him. But we are due for an interception, right? This backfield, we have not had many turnovers this year. We are one of the worst teams, I think, minus 18, or I don't even know what it is now, but it's a crazy number. If anybody in the chat knows, please put it up. I'd appreciate you. But yeah, it's a crazy number. We are not very good at causing turnovers. And I believe this could be definitely the week. Pal Mal, Paula Mal might get in there, definitely in the backfield. There's a lot of overthrown balls by Baker Mayfield, especially if you get pressure on him when he's in the pocket and you can pressure him. His his accuracy goes down, the velocity on his throwing, the balls go down. So if you can get in there, which I'm sure we are, because we've been putting a lot of pressure the last 4 games on opposing quarterbacks, and Patrick Graham's scheming it up, and we'll get to Patrick Graham here in a little bit. I want to talk about Patrick Graham. And, what is going on with him in the first half of the year? If you look at him coaching, everywhere he's been, he gets hot in December. And I don't know, you know, if that's something that can be fixed with his coaching. Do we move on from Patrick Graham if we keep AP, or if we don't keep AP? Are there people on this coaching staff that need to be here, like our defensive line coach, Rob Leonard? I mean, there are a lot of questions, so we'll get into that at the end of the show. But let's break this down some more. I don't know how to put it back up now. That one. Oh, shit, not that one. Let's try that one. All right, running backs. Now, our running game, our run defense has, tremendously improved. And we'll talk about that here at the end, just kind of like it did last year. When AP took over, a lot of people said that the reins were unleashed on Patrick Graham. They took off the handcuffs, but I don't believe that was the case. Yeah, and we'll look at some numbers and we'll talk about it. But the last 3 games, we have allowed under 70 yards a game, I do believe, or I think one game was over 70 yards, but we've definitely been under 100 yards a game. In the first 10 games, we were well over giving up 100 yards a game. So definitely stepping up, in December when it counts. But unfortunately for this year, it's too late. So rushing yards, games played for Bucky Irving, 133 carries. Like I said, 732 yards, as long as 56. The Raiders have given up the most big plays over 10 yards this year on the ground. So hopefully we can control that. 6 touchdowns, but he also has 2 fumbles. But the Raiders we're not trying to swat the ball. We're not reaching for the ball. We're not ripping the ball out. And I can understand because we have, trouble just tackling and wrapping guys up. And a lot of people say the Raiders don't have depth on this roster. I have to disagree. If we didn't have depth on this roster, how would we be playing like we did against Kansas City or the week before? We were in a lot of these games all this year with the players that we've lost, with young guys that don't know the system. The guys that we've lost, Malcolm Kuntz, Epps, these guys have been in the system for a little while. They know the system, and these are young guys just learning Patrick Graham shit. There's a lot of stuff in Patrick Graham's system you have to learn as a youngster. So I think we have depth on this team. We're 6th youngest team in the NFL. And I think it's going to come around, but it's Raider Nation, bro. People they're just impatient. White has 103 carries, 419 yards. His long is also 56. He has 2 plays, 2 bigs, which is over 10 yards, I believe, or maybe over 20. I don't know. I think it's 10 yards. Over 10 yards. Only has 2 touchdowns. Baker Mayfield has 3 touchdowns on the ground. He also has 229 yards rushing, but like I said, a little bit taped up this week. Who else we got to look out for? They run a lot of screens, a lot of reverses, obviously, as you can see by these numbers. The receivers have 8 carries, 10 carries, 7 carries. So definitely have to be aware for some end arounds, pause if necessary. Their leading receiver has 50 catches, or 50 catches on 62 targets for 556 yards. But they have 3 guys, 2 receivers, Evans and Godwin, who pretty much, split number 1 receivers. So you definitely have to watch out for both of those guys. I don't know if Godwin's back yet. I believe he's out for the season. But they do have Evans back. Their tight end also has 500 yards. The running backs both have almost, one has 3 and the other one has almost 300, 285 yards out of the backfield with a couple tutties, a couple big plays, 7 by Godwin. We don't have to worry about him. Mike Evans, one of the best receivers, in my opinion, in all time, 1,000 yards every single year he's been in the NFL, except for this year. It's looking very, very slim for my man. Hopefully he does not. I'm not even saying that shit. I'm knocking on something just for thinking about it. Why'd I even bring that up? Their defense, man. Their defense doesn't look like ours. Our defense has about 8 or 9, 10 guys on it. Their defense has a shitload. Their leading guy has 52 tackles, is David, outstanding linebacker. Their safety, Whitehead, has 47. Their other linebacker, Britt, has 35. Winfield Jr., 34. Another safety, 36, 35, 38. So their defense is a tight knit group. I mean, almost everybody on their defense is in double digits. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on of guys who have made plays. So the Raiders definitely have their work cut out for them. But we do have one thing going for us. Not the Tampa Bay, but the Carolina Panthers played them last week, and they laid the blueprint out, basically. They had that game won. Tampa Bay came back, won it in the end with a field goal. Carolina had many opportunities to open the game up, just missed opportunities, but they laid the blueprint out. They beat the zone. And Aidan O'Connell last week, which this is a great stat. Y'all going to love this. All the AOC haters, click, get your cameras out. No, I'm just kidding. Record. So Aidan O'Connell, we knew he threw for, 340 yards with 2 tutties last week. But a fun fact, Aidan O'Connell is the first quarterback since 2021 to throw for over 200 yards. He threw for 265 yards outside the numbers. You gotta know what outside the numbers is. There's numbers on the field. So outside those numbers, all the way up and down, yeah, that's outside the numbers. So Aidan O'Connell, 265 yards out of his 340 yards outside the numbers. The first player to do that since 2021. Does anybody know in the chat who that player was? There's a long ass delay. So, I'll tell you. Plays for an orange and black team. They got a tiger as a logo. Yes, it is none other than the great Joe Burrow. So, once again, Aidan O'Connell puts his name in some record books as a rookie that people say is just going to be a backup for the rest of his life. Now, that might be the case because it doesn't look like, with the Raiders drafting a rookie this year, that he's ever going to get his chance. They'll probably keep him as a backup. But I believe if some team was smart enough to take a chance on this kid, he could definitely be a starter in the NFL for many, many years to come. Now, he's got to work on his mobility. But if you listen to what people have to say about Aidan O'Connell, just the coach that we are going up against, Tampa Bay, Todd Boyles, said Aidan O'Connell is very intelligent. He puts the ball where it needs to be. And pretty much he plays like a veteran out there. He knows what he's supposed to do with the ball. He knows what he wants to do with the ball. And he knows how to beat guys. So, I mean, that's just crazy numbers. When you got a kid that was drafted in the fourth round, that was thrown into a mix as a rookie with a new head coach, he's had 4 offensive coordinators in his little time in the NFL, a year and a half or a year and 3/4, almost 2 years, but not a starter at all those times. 4 different style offenses, 4 different play callers, 4 different quarterback coaches, and this kid just keeps proving everybody wrong, like he did in college, like he's done in the NFL, and he's going to continue to do it as long as you give him a shot. So, man, shout out to Aidan O'Connell. I hope he has another big game and just keeps putting people's foot in their mouth when they say this dude will never be nothing but a backup for his whole entire career. Like, it's crazy. The kid has analysts everywhere, ex-football players, people that know way more about football than any of us will ever know and probably have forgot more about football, all say this kid has that in him and could be that guy, but an opportunity, right? And we'll see what he does with this opportunity. We know what he did with the opportunity last year. He took that shit and ran with it. 9 touchdowns, one in his last 5 games. Some say 6 games. I believe it was 5, but still 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, 5 games, 3-1 in the division as a rookie, and should have, could have, but got the rug pulled out from underneath them, but could have beat the Chiefs on Black Friday. So come on, man. This kid has the heart of a lion. And yes, we need to draft a quarterback. We should draft a quarterback every year until we find that guy, you know, that we want, whoever that guy is. Now the nation has different ideas, but since we're talking on quarterbacks and ideas, the mandate was supposedly all bullshit. Nobody, whatever. It was a misleak or they're covering it up or however it goes in the NFL. But apparently, Mark Davis saying he didn't say that, it was a false statement. But with that being said, there was another article, or in that article, it also said that Tom Brady, or that Tom Brady, as minority owner, was going to have say, but Tom Telesco, as general manager, would have most of the say in who the quarterback would be this year. So go read the article, heavy.com, I believe it is. I was trying to look it up on my computer, but it's not pulling up, and I can't find it on my damn phone. I don't know which one it was. Yeah, so damn, that's where I'm at. But go check out the article, basically saying that the Raiders could be moving on, from Antonio Pierce. There's no mandate to go get a quarterback in the first round or to draft, a quarterback. And Tom Telesco is going to have most of the say. So for all the people, that keep saying Tom Brady is going to potentially draft the quarterback and train him and all that shit, we don't know. But with that being said, is Shador Sanders a Tom Telesco quarterback? Now, is Tom Telesco going to do what he said, which I believe he has this year? He's got all the guys that Antonio Pierce, fit his style. Caleb Von Chasen, I criticized that choice. I was like, why are we getting a guy from the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in football, that's being released, a former number 1 pick? Why are we going backwards? But Caleb Von Chasen, I apologize. You put my foot in my mouth and been playing your ass off. So I didn't think he was going to help this team. I didn't think he was a need on this team. We had bigger holes to fill and plug. but the man has stepped up and made a big impact on this team. And him and Snowden both, they both met at the quarterback last week. I don't even know if Crosby was in on that play, which I think he was because I believe he played 100% of the snaps again. But with that being said, is Tom Telesco going to go get AP style quarterback? Is Shador AP style of quarterback? Or is it more of a guy like AP has said a million times? Well, I guess Shador kind of fits that mold that we don't need a guy, to run for 20, 30, 40 yards. We just need a guy to, pick up some first downs, make plays with his feet, scramble, ad lib when there's nothing there, right? That's basically what we need. I guess they don't believe Aidan O'Connell could do that, which I mean, I don't really can't think he can either. But he's proved everybody wrong his whole life. He did scramble last week. It got called back, unfortunately, and he also had time to step up. I believe it was on the 5-yard line. Maybe we had the ball at the 7-yard line, but he had a play to run up the middle. There was a safety closing in. But in my opinion, if you want to be a starting quarterback in this league, and you want to show you're a player, I'm not saying you're Josh Allen or could ever be, but if you want to show you're a starting, quarterback with the heart of somebody like a Josh Allen, he should have ran for that. He could have picked up the first down. Instead, he ran 2 steps forward and then ran completely sideways. You know, a play I bet he wishes he had back because that could have changed the game completely right there. We kicked another field goal and I think missed that one too or some shit. But I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened on that play. But again, he had a wide open field and he should have stepped up and made those runs. And I think he has the legs to do it. I mean, he's 6'3", he got long legs, you got big strides. You just got to believe in yourself to run, cover up the ball. But who is, that type? There's another quarterback in Oregon. We know, everybody says that Tom Telesco loves quarterbacks out of Oregon just because who he drafted. I don't know if that's the case. Raider Booster, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you. Y'all go check out his channel, New England Raiders Booster. And he is also, if you're in New England and you want to be part of the Raiders Booster Club, hit this man up. I don't have any mods in here. I would drop your links, my guy. But yeah, if you're in the, I think, New England area, I do believe, whatever. I could make you a mod and you could drop your own links in here. I'm just saying. But I probably don't know how to do that either. What are your thoughts, Rebel? Do we keep AP another year? Um, I, man, he's got me back and forth. I'm on the fence. I'm definitely on the fence with AP. You can't be a coach in this league when you have Andy Reid, when you have Sean Payton, and now you have Harbaugh, who everybody's starting to say that we had a chance to get Harbaugh. You can't be this inexperienced in this league. Now, we thought he had the Kansas City Chiefs number. Obviously, that wasn't the case this year. We are not undefeated in the division. We are, winless in the division. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good for Antonio Pierce. But with we were 3-1 in the division last year. We thought he had the Chargers number. We thought he had Kansas City's number. He said he knows Spags, Spagnola, the defensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. He said he knows that guy better than anybody. He knows Andy Reid. He played against him. He's known Andy Reid for a long time. And we all bought into that shit. But yes, injuries is key. But his coaching lost us that game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I don't, whether you're an Antonio Pierce fan, whether you're not an Antonio Pierce fan, if you other be, like some content creators and make it some crazy narrative, but when you look at everything he's done, you just have to say no. You just have to say no. But then when you look at the team in the locker room, and I don't know if anybody in here has watched any of the interviews. We'll get to the Jack Jones interview. I just didn't like that shit. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But if you watch the interviews in the locker room, with Caleb on chasing, they were joking around. It was funny. You could hear the guys in the background. Now, I don't know if this is where you should be, and the locker room should be like this, where all the people in the background playing dumbass music and laughing and joking around. But at least it's good spirits, right? It didn't sound like anybody in there was down, hanging their head, and they show it on the grass. These guys come to play for him. And I've said it over and over again. There are 21 free agents, and maybe they're not coming to play for him. Maybe they're coming to play for their jobs. Maybe they're coming to make a showing, for next year and try to get somebody to sign them because they don't know if they're going to be here. Nobody knows who's going to be here next year. Pretty much the only guarantee is Max Crosby. So it's hard to say. But on the other hand, you have Antonio Pierce, who grew up a Raiders fan. Nobody wants this franchise to win more than Antonio Pierce, maybe me and you guys. But, however, the inexperience, can you fire a head coach and keep him in the building? Has anybody ever fired a head coach and said, man, we're going to fire you, but we'll demote you to maybe assistant head coach, maybe let you learn for a while, to give you another chance one day, but we're going to bring in one of these guys like Vrabel, and maybe you can learn from him for a while. I don't know, but the fact that he's a Raiders fan, grew up a Raiders fan, his dream is to coach this team. But when you get your dream job and you stand up there and say, "Hey, I'm that guy that I do everything top notch. I do everything 120%. I'm good at everything I do," which he said in all his press conferences, right? These coaches have to be scared of me. I'm not worried about them. They need to be worried about us. Worry about your own quarterback. Don't worry about ours. All the rah-rah bullshit, the gangster hard ass shit sounded good, but he hasn't, followed through with any of that shit. He's great on the podium. Put him on the podium, and dude, everybody in the room and everybody, behind the screen watching on their phones or whatever is ready to get up and run through a brick wall for this man. But when it comes to decision making on the field, which it really is his only job, you're not calling offensive plays, you're not calling defensive plays. Your only job is to get guys prepared for the game, get everything ready, where they're going, where they're landing, where they're staying, all that shit. And game management, call timeouts at the right time, go for a field goal at the right time, go for it on fourth down at the right time. Make sure you have plays called for these key plays and everybody is on the same page. Hey, if it's this play, we're running this. If it's this, it's this. Or call the play in time, a play before, while they're running the play before. Hey, if we don't get this, be upstairs. Hey, this is what we're doing. No, I don't like that play. No, I don't like that play. But I don't see him coaching. I believe he's put too much on Getsy and, let Getsy pick the personnel. Getsy decided to go, so the story goes, Getsy goes with Gardner Minshew over Aidan O'Connell. Now everybody's saying AP really won Aidan O'Connell. But if that's the case, you're the head coach. You should say, no, this is my team. Play this guy. And he didn't do that. And he's lost those games by inexperience. He's lost this game by inexperience of personnel, by having the wrong players on the field at the wrong time, in my opinion. You got guys like Amari Gaynor sitting on the bench who don't get no play time, who is one of the fastest, best, man coverage linebackers we have. And he's not on the field, Sincere McCormick just now getting on the field. So it's hard to answer your question if I think AP deserves another year. But then on the other hand, the Raiders' longest coaching tenure is John Madden and Tom Flores. John Madden was here 10 years. Tom Flores was here, I believe, 6 or 8. I'm not positive. Don't crucify me on the cross for being wrong, but somewhere in there, I believe it's 8 years. Could be 6. Every other coach since then has been with the Raiders for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, a half a year, 3 years. Stability, stability. And Antonio Pierce, whether it was bullshit or not, he sold his vision to Mark Davis. Mark Davis and Tom Brady, because Tom Brady might not have been minority owner at the time, but Mark Davis or Tom Brady has been in Mark Davis's ear since they've been, I'm sure partnered up with the Aces. I'm sure he's called Tom Brady, he's asked Tom Brady's opinion on shit, and I'm sure Tom Brady and Richard Seymour were in his ear and they bought into what Antonio Pierce was selling, right? He sold his vision. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I plan to do. And they bought into that shit. But 1 year is not enough time for somebody's vision to come through, to come through tuition. It's not. You got to have at least 3 years as a head coach. Now, did they sign him to a 3-year contract? I do not believe that is the case. I believe it was 2 years with, some stipulations. This is what has to happen to get your third year. If this what happens in the 2 years, then we'll go on from there. But right now he's behind the 8 ball because nobody planned for them to be 2-10, and I just don't see how he can make it up. Especially if there is a mandate to go get a quarterback in the first round, that's pretty much saying tank. And if that's saying tank, then you got no chance. Like if you can't win games and prove that Luke Getsy was the problem, if they win games, at least you can look back and say, look, Luke Getsy was the problem. Spagnola, not Spagnola, but Scangarello, quarterback coach, was the problem. James Gregg, the offensive line coach, was the problem. Gardner Minshew and all those turnovers was the problem. But unless you win games, that wasn't the problem, right? That wasn't the problem. It's the coaching. So to get that out of everybody's head and to change people's mind, you have to win games. And nobody wants to win games at this point. Nobody wants to win games. Everybody wants a quarterback. Nobody wants to win. So if he wins games, people are going to hate him for winning games. If he loses games, people are going to be like, you're a garbage ass coach. Get the hell out. We don't want you back. Antonio Pierce is in a rock and a hard place right now, and he's screwed. Now, can you do enough in these games, like the Kansas City Chief game, where you could say, hey, look, we were in this game. We only lost by a point or two or three, but you know how hard it is for an NFL team to even stay in a game or to win a game, let alone try to make sure you lose a game and keep it close. Like that is an undaunting task that I just don't think he's up for or capable of. So it doesn't look good for Antonio Pierce, really. It doesn't look good for him. Now, if you're asking my opinion, do I want him back? Yes and no. Yes, because I would like to see what he could do. It sounds good on the podium. It looks good in practice. It looks good from the player standpoint of view, and how nobody's giving up and they're playing 110%. But you can also say there was a whole business decision where he had to call players out because they weren't giving 110%. And Jack Jones in his interview yesterday, he don't respect nobody. Why respect anybody? Shit, like I don't know. They that was AP's guy that he ain't controlling right now. So there's a lot of things that are not going in his favor. And probably winning will not be in his favor because people are going to be pissed if he wins. Um, he was supposed to be like his father, a father figure to Jack. If anyone knows the kid to help him develop, it should have been AP. Jack hasn't progressed much this year. Jack has regressed this year 100%. Like he is not into it, bro. I've said before, and I think it's even higher now. But last time I talked about this was about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and his quarterback rating against was 128.8. 128.8 against. That was third worst in the entire NFL. Jack Jones was getting beat third worst in the entire NFL a month ago. Now, has his game stepped up the last couple of weeks? Yes, but the Raiders have stepped up the last couple of weeks. And in his again in his press conference or his little interview with whoever, I think Vegas Sports or whatever, whoever did the interview, but my man said, they're like, why are you, how have you stepped up, the last couple of weeks? How has the team stepped up? He's like, it's on the defense, it's on the front seven. Yeah, the front seven got to get to the quarterback and give us time. They got to make tackles up front. We can't be the last line of defense. Like, bro, that's not shit you say. that's not that's not stuff you say by a guy that brought you in that's supposed to be like a father figure to you. And you're saying guys ain't making tackles, guys up front aren't doing their jobs. When you're the one getting smoked, giving up 128.8 quarterback rating, I don't get that shit. So I don't know. And the laughing and shit in the locker room. Now I could see not having your heads hung and pouting, poor pity me. But there's a lot of laughing for a 2-10 team. Now I've watched this team a long time, and it's not like it used to be. You don't get so many reports. You didn't get as many reports in the locker room, but you got some shit and some sense of how the guys' demeanors were. And when they're losing, bro, nobody's happy. Nobody's in there laughing and giggling, playing songs, jumping around, making jokes, cracking jokes with the reporters. That shit to me is just wild. So I don't know. It doesn't look good for Antonio Pierce. But we've all been blindfolded this year so many times and, you know, had the wool pulled out, the rug pulled out from under us with everything we believed and all this shit they fed us that who knows what their plan is. They could be just lying to us constantly. And I'm starting to believe that's the case. Like just everything they say in the press conferences, all the reports are just bullshit. They're just all trying to feed us in a crazy direction. Watch. Knowing the Raiders, they probably won't even get a quarterback or a running back. You probably go all offensive line and get a new kicker in the first round because he missed 3 in a row. Just saying. That would be wild, bro. But it wouldn't be the first time we drafted a kicker in the first round. So, where the hell did I leave off? What does this say? If we play the last 5 games the way we played KC, minus the kicking, we could win all 5. I'm 100. That's what I said last night. Did I go on last night? No, I didn't. The night before. Yeah, we could easily win these games. Tampa Bay, you know, if you go back and look at history, all our games with Tampa Bay have been pretty close. I think we lead the all-time matchup 7-4, I do believe. Check the facts if I'm wrong, but I do believe it's 7-4, which they have the biggest win, which is in the Super Bowl, 41 to whatever. I don't even want to say it, but get that taste out of my mouth. Um, Fuck, why am I talking like this still? Horrible at this shit. So, yeah, that's a little better. Damn stats. But yeah, so I think they're all winnable games. I think Baker Mayfield, pretty much every game, he's had 2 or 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Now, can the Raiders capitalize on those interceptions? Can we make plays? Can we intercept the damn ball? That is the biggest question of all. And it really hasn't gone our way. We've had chances, tip balls land in our lap. We haven't got them, but I think the Decamarion Richardson, or however you say his name, Decam, is starting to adapt. He's starting to get the speed in the NFL. He seems like his coverage is getting a little better. His head's getting turned around looking for the ball. And I just hope one of these guys, one of these young guys, can get an interception. Now, I don't know. Does anybody know what's up with Jacorian Bennett? Is he out? Oh, he's out. He's on IR, huh? Fuck. So no Jacorian Bennett, same young guys. I don't really like Harper. I don't really say that about many Raiders, but man, the man just scares me in coverage. But we're playing with what we got, so hopefully, keep your fingers crossed. The Raiders can cause some turnovers in this game. Both of their running backs have one has 3 turnovers, the other one has 2, as we just seen a second ago. Baker Mayfield, 11 interceptions. We have to force turnovers. If it's any game, we have to force turnovers. And we have to do, like I said, Carolina Panthers gave us the blueprint. They picked apart the zone. Yeah, put that up there. Appreciate you. They picked apart the zone. They threw over the middle. And if you can beat the zone, and then, once they went to man, they threw the ball deep. Not too many times, but they threw a couple deep passes. And I think the Raiders need to take, half of that blueprint, because I think we need to open and stretch the field. So Aidan O'Connell, if you give him time, he will drop dimes. And I'm going to keep saying this shit all year until he proves me wrong. Give the man time. He's going to drop dimes. So if you give him protection, he will pick zone apart. He's very, very disciplined. He's very good. He has very, very good eye awareness. He knows he has very good ball placement. His people say he doesn't have a great internal clock. He might need to work on that. But he's relying on Colton Miller, who's pretty much a Pro Bowler, or should be a Pro Bowler. Maybe not this year, but in years past, who's just been giving up his blind side and just getting the kid murdered. But other than that, the man is disciplined as hell. So he will pick the zone apart. And then once you get if you get man coverage, they can't handle Brock Bowers. Nobody can handle Brock Bowers in man coverage, probably not even in double coverage sometimes. He's still going to find a way to get open. So, we have to exploit the zone, force them to get in man coverage. And once they get in man coverage, run the shit out of the ball. Run the hell out of the ball. If we can continue to run the ball for over 100 yards, it's going to open up play action. It's going to open up read option, RPO. It's going to open up a lot of shit. And I think this team, their defense is, they're struggling right now. And we need to take advantage of it. Hobbs ankle, running back Samir is out. Tight end Justin Shorter, doubtful. Jacoby Myers, ankle, doubtful. Oh, and running back Alexander, questionable. Man, if he's questionable, just don't even bother playing him. I hope that's the case. Madison hasn't really done great for us this year. I haven't been impressed with any of his games. He's had some decent, runs when he's moved his feet, but we haven't really seen him in Scott Turner's offense, Norv Turner's, the Turner brother or the Turner family's offense, which obviously this offensive line is going, their 4th week together, the same offensive line. That's definitely going to help with continuity. It's going to help continue to open up holes that we can just continue to pound, pause if necessary. What else we got? I was trying to get to the damn matchups. So Patrick Graham. Let's talk about Patrick Graham. Let me read this first. The only one there I hope plays is Myers because without him we're hurting on off. I don't what's going on with Myers? I know he was good. My guy Lawrence, what's good, my guy? So, Jacoby Myers was out 2 weeks. He played last week. He was questionable all the way till game time. 2 weeks ago, comes out, has one of his best games of the season. played pretty good last week also. And then practiced Wednesday, practiced, I believe, Thursday, and then went to questionable, I guess, Wednesday after practice, was it? So, man, I don't know what's going on with him. I hope he didn't re-injure the ankle. And I hope it's, them just being like, hey, the guy's not 100% healthy. Let's not risk it. There's no reason for him to be out there if he's not 100%, right? I know we're trying to win. I know Antonio Pierce needs to win to try to have any chance of keeping his job right now, but it's not worth putting players out there, especially the player, of Jacoby Myers caliber. If he's not 100%, it's not gonna hurt us that much. They did activate Christian Wilkinson, which I don't know why they didn't activate the kid from Tennessee. I think he gives us a lot more explosiveness, a little bit better height, a little bit better athleticism. But Wilkerson's, been with this team. It's his second year now, so he kind of knows Aidan O'Connell a little bit. A little bit of continuity that'll help. But he's no Jacoby Myers. Hopefully, Norv and Scott Turner can take advantage and use Trey Tucker like they started to in the second half of last week. I like they put him in some drag routes. That worked very, very well. Got him the ball in the open field, let him make plays with his legs. Not having DJ Turner, him being out for the season is going to hurt us. I thought maybe they would have brought up, two receivers this week if Jacoby can't go. And who knows? I guess it's probably too late to activate him, right? They got to do it by tomorrow. Yesterday. So, yeah, I don't know. But we do have, 3 tight ends on the roster. Oh, Shorts questionable. Out. Back doubtful. Fuck. That's not good. So yeah, we're missing. Missing a lot of key guys on offense. Hopefully, possibly, maybe with that shortage, we could see Dylan Labe line up in the slot somewhere, or line up maybe in somehow line up in an I formation out of the backfield, get some wheel routes, get the ball in the playmaker's hands. Dylan Labe is a playmaker with the ability to make plays, kind of like a kid. If anybody watched the Arizona State game and that crazy little bowling ball, Christian McCaffrey 5.0 and a Scatterboo, that man is a freak of nature, bro. A freak of nature. 170 yards on the ground in that, was it Big 12, ACC, whatever championship game it was. I don't know. The man had 170 yards on the ground, 2 tutties, a touchdown receiving, and over 210 yards combined total. This is his third or fourth game, I do believe, this year where he's had over 200 yards in a game total. So another freak kid who's going to be way, way higher up there on the totem pole than a Dylan Labe. But man, this kid is somebody to watch out for in the draft. When they put everything on your shoulders in a championship game, trying to get into a playoff, and they just continue to hand you the ball, you would think, right? 170 yards, you're thinking what, 25? How many carries? How many carries you think it took him to get 170 yards, Mr. Scatterboo? 17, bro. Oh, 16. 16 carries. On 16 carries, my man had 170 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. Absolutely freakish, right? Freakish. Ashton Genty, another freakish running back, is 128 yards away from breaking, some would say, and not too many would argue, the greatest running back of all time, Barry Sanders. What was it, Oklahoma? College rushing record. That is, I mean, I can't even come up with the words to that. I don't know how long it stood, but I know since I was a kid, or not a kid, but since I was very, very young, Barry Sanders has had that record, and nobody ever thought it would get broke. So I don't know if it's fair that we have more games. I guess not more games because if they were to win, they'd be in the A college championship. Also, Oklahoma State. That's what it is. I knew I was off. But yeah, so let me know in the chats. Y'all think that's how fair do you think that is? Do we get more games? Because are they going to count the playoff game as part of his rushing total for the season? Because I don't believe when Barry Sanders was in college that did they have a playoffs? They didn't even have a 4-team playoff, did they? Sorry, my brain is fried. Pay attention to my chat. What are you talking about? Woman? Man? Who are you? Sound like my mother. Still here just doing dishes. Well, you're not a man then. Let's play. Limited practice. They said, yeah. Terrence Marshall. Why? I thought they activated him last week. They sent him back down. I don't know why the hell. And I was reading the chat. I'm tired. No, Walter Payton was the all-time running back. Man, we know Walter Payton was great, but Barry Sanders was a human highlight reel. And if Barry Sanders wouldn't have retired 15 years before he should have, nobody would even be close, bro. There would not even be a question of who is the greatest of all times. No question at all. It was Walter Payton. No, it was not Walter Payton, bro. Chicago Bears fan? Fuck. You're in the wrong chat. How many times you gonna say Walter Payton? Do bowl games count as your rushing total also? And there's still bowl games this year and the championship. So do teams that are in the teams in the that are in the college playoff? I guess they would not make it to the bowl game because I don't know how that works. So if you make it to the college championship, you don't get to go in the bowl game either. Because aren't the major bowl games? Well, I guess not the major bowl game, but the Fiesta Bowl or whatever it is, the championship game. It's in January. I guess they're playing for that, right? I don't know what I'm thinking. Never mind. Don't listen to me. What is all these Walter Payton chats? Did you just spam my chat with Walter Payton? Holy shit. Somebody really likes Walter Payton. All right. Well, when you get his dead nuts out of your mouth, type something else. Had to make sure you were listening. I am listening. And you are a dude doing dishes? Man, you don't have a dishwasher? You know what dish soap does to a man's hands? Just saying. Makes them all crackly and raw and old and dirty and all this shit. What's wrong with you, woman? I mean, man. I didn't mean to call you a woman. That is rude. I apologize. No dishwasher? Damn, that sucks. Maybe you could hire one. All right, so what do y'all think AP's chances are coming back next year? Like, to answer my man's question, Rated Ryan, I'm really starting to get a very strong feeling that they're just gonna wash their hands with him. I really, barring some miracle, I think no matter what happens, it just kind of is gonna look bad for AP. Like I said, if Aidan O'Connell balls out, it looks bad for AP that they didn't go with Aidan O'Connell from the start when he pretty much got him the job. When I went through all the shit he did last year. There was no reason to break up the continuity, the chemistry that Aidan O'Connell had with every one of our receivers. Jacoby Myers in the offseason, Trey Tucker in the offseason, even Devontae Adams was seen at the park working with the young kid. Now, if Devontae Adams didn't believe in Aidan O'Connell, why would the man be at the park at 6 o'clock in the morning in Vegas in the summertime catching balls from him? Pause if necessary. But they blew all that shit up. All that points to head coaching. And when you have that many marks, if we were to make a checklist and be like, okay, these are the things he's done wrong, and these are the positive things that he's done, I'm kind of pretty positive that the bad things outweigh the good by a big margin, right? By a pretty big margin. And like again, excuses with the injuries. Who is the boob that's spamming the chat? Obviously a Bears fan. Raph in the building. What's good? Where you been, my brother? I ain't seen you. Think they might trade who? Do you think they keep AOC next year? I mean, that all depends. Like I said, all the rumors were uh Tom Brady, Mark Brady, as I call him, is given, the okay to bring in the quarterback, to train the quarterback and all that shit. Now there's reports saying it's going to be Tom Telesco that has most of the say who the guy's going to be. So if it's Tom Telesco, it's hard to say. We know what Tom Telesco's style quarterback is. It's Riley Leonard out of Notre Dame. It's Clint Kubiak, who's about to play here in a minute if they haven't already started. Penn State. It's it's not really a Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon. It's not really the kind of guys he's drafted. If you look at all the quarterbacks he's drafted, most of them are pocket passers that can make plays with their feet. Now, I know Aidan O'Connell and everybody says he can't make plays with his feet, but there's a lot of guys in this draft that can, like a Jackson Dart, like a Drew Alar. Was getting ready to play at Penn State. I was sorry. The guy plays for Notre Dame. My bad. Riley Leonard, Notre Dame. What's the other guy? Klubiak at Clemson, I do believe. There's a lot of 6'4", 6'5", 230-pound quarterbacks in this draft. Not named Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, who are 6'2", 210, 15 pounds soaking wet. So I don't know. There might be some broken hearts. There might be some disappointed people. Me, I don't really care as long as we win. I'm gonna be a critic if we don't win, and I'm gonna be a board if we do win. So I'm still gonna be a critic even if we are winning, probably. But as long as we get back to greatness, man, we need to get back to greatness. We need to get back to the Raider way. I'm tired of hearing about the Raider way because the Raider way is been losing, bro. Like you can't say it's not. It's been, horrible drafts, shitty first round picks, horrible second round picks, bad coaching decisions. So we try to make up with it, by putting deodorant on a pig or spraying it with cologne. You can't spray a pig with cologne and tell me that shit smells good. It just smells like smell good shit. It still smells like shit, right? You can't cover up shit smell. So that's all we try to do. We constantly try to cover up. Oh, this didn't work. Let's bring in a Devontae Adams and get everybody to buy in on that and buy jerseys. And Devontae's not going nowhere. He wants to be a Raider. It's constantly just a spinning hamster wheel, and eventually somebody's got to be the guy to be like, no, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not leaving. Give me a chance to turn this around. And I hope AP is that guy. I really do. I really, really hope he can be that guy because again, he don't call offensive plays. He don't call defensive plays. He's already just a rah rah guy, right? He's just a motivator. Get guys to buy into the system. Buy into the belief. I believe one of the smartest things AP has done this whole time was the bricks. And if you haven't watched that shit, do I have it on here? I don't know. But the whole brick scenario, piece by piece, brick by brick, everybody take a brick, put your name on it, write one goal down. And in December, which is December now, they're supposed to take all those bricks, build them together, see what everybody wrote down and see where they're at the end of the year. Well, I think when they do that shit, it's going to be an eye opener of where everybody thought this team was going to be at that time because I'm sure they're nowhere close to where everybody thought on that team are the people in the locker room, are the people in the building thought the Raiders were going to be at this point, right? He is a male cheerleader, and a lot of head coaches are, but most of the head coaches that are cheerleaders know football, and he knows football, but they have experience in football. At coaching, he doesn't. He has experience in getting players to believe in him. And, you know, you can go back and look at Long Beach Poly. Again, one of the most prestige schools in all of high school, any state in California. They have one of the highest, college recruiting rates and guys making it to the NFL in all of the United States. And the guy didn't have a very good record there. Then you go, to Arizona, and he got the, take over Marvin Lewis's team. Same thing happens there. So his track record is not very good. I think, you know, he sold the plan to Mark Davis. Mark Davis bought in. Raider Nation bought in. We all bought in, and it didn't turn out like we wanted. And he sold us a bunch of shit. We bought it and disappeared, kind of like telemarketers, right? They call you on the phone, they get your credit card, they take all your info, they tell you all this good shit. You're about to buy all this property somewhere. They do that shit to people all the time. Oh, you're about to get all this, this, and this, and this. And then you don't get none of that. You never see or hear from those people ever again. One and done. So it could be like that. It could be. All right. It could very well. That man has a vision. You can't make that shit up in your head on the fly at a podium and sound like you know where you want to go or what you're talking about the way that man does. So I think he does have a vision. I think he knows what it takes to build a winning culture and a winning organization, not just one year make the playoffs and then, not make them again for another 3 years, but constantly, like he said when he first took over the team. We're not here to win the Super Bowl or make the playoffs. I'm not promising that. I'm not promising it this year. I'm not even promising it next year. He was straightforward. He said, my promise is to build stability, to build a winning franchise for the team to know what it's like to win, how it feels to win, and win consistently. Now, if you look at our record, that's not saying a whole lot, right? But again, he had the right coordinator. Obviously, they're doing well over there in Washington. He had the right quarterback that he wanted that he couldn't get, also doing well in Washington. So either way, you know, like the man, not like him. You can be stupid and try to make it a black and white thing, or they did him wrong. He was the scapegoat, or any of that stupid shit that all the media is trying to feed you. But at the end, I think Mark Davis really believed in Antonio Pierce, and I think he still kind of believes in Antonio Pierce. You know, not a football guy or not, you still got to know what's going on. And can you blame it on him hiring Getsy? Yes. Can you blame it on him letting Gardner Minshew continue to be the starter? Yes, because whether he was lying to us, which he says he doesn't, he don't bite his tongue, right? He's Antonio Pierce. He don't bite his tongue. Whether he was lying to us or not, the man still stood up there and said, Gardner Minshew's our guy. He gives us the best chance to win. No, we're going with Gardner Minshew. And the reporters even asked questions and gave him facts. But this guy gives us a better chance to win. Aidan O'Connell has proved, and the last 2 minutes of a game, he can come right down and drive. No, Gardner Minshew is our guy. So the fact that he continued to stick with Gardner Minshew and believe that Gardner was the guy, to me, just that scales like this, bro. It's I don't know how much you can see me, but yeah, it's very very one sided at this point. But again, if you can learn from your mistakes, which he hasn't proved so far, if you could, do what you say you're gonna do, right? Be that team that takes chances. So far, this team has been so conservative this year; it's ridiculous, and that's not the team that he promised us. That's not the team that he said he was going to be. It's not the coach he said he was going to be. We were going to run the ball. We were going to be smash mouth. We were going to throw the ball down the field. The only time we've thrown the ball down the field was last week. Shout out to Brock Bowers. 2 catches, 64 yards. Out of his 140 yards were passes over 20 yards. Aidan O'Connell, also first quarterback this year to throw the ball. What the fuck was the stat? I just forgot. Oh, Aidan O'Connell was the first quarterback this year for any team to have most of his yards passes where the ball traveled 20 yards or more, which we have not seen in a long, long time since what, maybe Jeff George days? I don't know how long, but it's been crazy, crazy long since we've seen that on the Raiders. So that's what I have. That's what I got. An hour and 20 minutes, way more than I thought I was gonna be on here. What was I gonna say? Raph, I will email you. I'm gonna try to put some people together. Monday night scrutiny. I'm trying to bring a couple people on. Probably before, if you guys are available before the game. So New England Boosters, I don't know if you're still in here or not, but I will definitely hit you up and see if y'all can do it, before or after the game. I don't know what anybody's schedule is like, but like to break down, Sunday's game with Tampa Bay, talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. Ray Love, if you want to come on too, my brother. Shit. But yeah, as always, I appreciate y'all. Predictions. How many people are in here? Give your predictions. Predictions for the game. What's the score? Do we win or lose? My prediction is 24-19 Raiders. 24-19. That's what I'm saying. We out. I'll wait for a minute to see if anybody's going to comment who they think's going to win or their score. But yeah, that's it. I think, I don't follow Tampa, so I can't say, well, they're pretty good, but 24-13 we lose. 24-21 Tampa Bay. I just after the Chiefs game and the way Aidan O'Connell played and the Bucs defense, the way they've been giving up points, unless they got mandate, Scott Turner and North Turner not to get carried away. I think Aidan O'Connell can cut loose again. So, do I want to see us win? I'm not Team Tank, bro. I'm not Team Tank. Let the chips fall where they may at this point, and I will be on. Shit, I don't know. I might be on later on tonight for a late night episode to break down some of these quarterbacks and why I feel Shador and Cam, or not Cam, but just Shador, because the rest of the quarterbacks in this draft all have something in common that Shador doesn't, and it could be very, very, very critical to him becoming a Las Vegas Raider and this franchise. So, as always, much love. Appreciate y'all. I will be live for the game tomorrow. So, if you can't watch it, can't get it, come check it out. Play by play live with yours truly, Raiders Rebel. As always, much love. Peace. Just win, baby. Or not. Salute, Rebel. Subscribe. Appreciate you. Hey, also, we are almost to 1,000. We are less than 25 away. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that we need subs. Appreciate you. Much love. I'm out.